This is season 2, episode 2, and we have a very special guest for you today. We have Hannah of Hannah C Fit. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Phil Castro.
I'm Ethan Heath.
I'm Xander Moore.
And, of course, our guest.
I'm Hannah.
Hannah's here. And this is a very special guest. Obviously, all of our guests we consider special.
Absolutely.
We enjoy everyone's stories, and we've learned a lot. Season 1, we've definitely learned quite a lot about all of our guests. But this is a very special guest. This is our first female guest. And we are just so blessed to have her. And so, Hannah, for those who may not know about Hannah C Fit and what you're doing online, can you give us a quick little background about you, what you do, what realm you're in, and some of the goals that you're trying to accomplish this year in 2024?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. And I feel honored to be the first female guest. I got into this because I do have really bad anxiety and I have struggled with insecurity. I had gone through a really difficult period of my life, and I had every reason to just give up, be a bum, and just throw away my life. But I decided to take my pain and turn it into power and go all in on my own fitness journey, and also help other people who are in the same boat as me. So with Hannah C Fitness, I teach like-minded individuals that you don't need to be that chicken and rice kind of person going all in 7 days a week. That's not my program. Mine is for everyday people who, like to go to the wineries on the weekend sometimes. They're going out on vacation with their friends and family, and they still want to hit their goals. And those are my kind of people.
Wow.
Man, that is beautiful. You literally just kind of summarized me up in like the winery.
Okay, all right.
You feel me?
I was gonna say, it's kind of like the fitness life balance.
Yes.
Like you want that balance, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am more of a lifestyle coach. I want people to know that it's okay to have fun. It's okay to go out. I like baseball games. I like to drink every once in a while. I'm a human being.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, and I'm not going to preach perfection because I know that I'm so hard on myself. I'm always wanting to be perfect. Just, 2-3 nights ago, I was crying because I wanted to be perfect. I want to look perfect. I want to be the perfect coach. I want to be the most educated. I want to be the most put together, but that's just not reality.
Yeah.
And so for the people who come to me and they feel defeated, I want to lift them up and let them know it's okay to not be perfect. If you hold on to that perfection, what's going to happen is I teach like the rubber band effect. You're going, and then you're like, fuck. Excuse me.
No, you're good. You're good.
Screw this. It's too hard. And you snap and you just go crazy. You go crazy with your food. You go crazy with your drinking. You go crazy with your partying. And you don't have that balance. So I believe that having that balance is telling them like, hey, go have a good time, but make sure you're here Monday at 8 a.m. And we're going to talk about it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
So almost like being too disciplined can like almost take you back if you're not smart about it.
I can correlate my life with that, dude. It's like when you're like when she said your diet, you're eating whatever, and then all of a sudden, boom, complete 180.
Yeah.
You can do it for 5-6 days, but then you have that crashing point where you're like, oh my, you break. You know
maybe
what I
even
mean?
a couple weeks.
Instead of like slowly weaning off, cutting some stuff back. If you just completely stop it, it's almost like your body's like, oh my, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? No, we're used to eating this. Let's eat this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of a really relatable thing that a lot of people don't like to talk about that you just touched on. And first of all, I thank you so much for your vulnerability. We really appreciate that. Just to say, no, I just spent a night just crying. Like I was just in the feelings. And a lot of time, especially for dudes, we're kind of taught to suppress that a little bit. With our last guest, I think Smitty even talked a lot about how, with his dad and about staying strong, but how it's good to let those emotions out and how you kind of have to let that out. For some people, they may not realize that can take place in a very physical manifestation like the gym. That angst, you need to direct it somewhere. And if you're not like a creative person that has like an outlet for art or something like that, you may find that getting in the gym, and even if you're afraid to hit the gym and hit the weights and all that stuff, getting on the treadmill, walking,
Absolutely.
getting on the stairs and just walking and just letting your brain just process what's happening can be so beneficial for you. And it sounds like still today, even as a trainer, you go through those very, very newbie, if you will, emotions of just being like, man, I want this perfection, but I'm not there, and having to check yourself. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, the reason why I'm sharing it is because I'm an observer. I observe other people around me. I observe what other people are going through. And I hear sometimes other coaches, not in this gym, but like this gym, other gyms, wherever, and I hear they're venting and I hear they're frustrated. And I believe it's okay to have those emotions. We're real human beings, but you have to put that mask on. You have to have that face on because people are coming to you to be inspired. So have your moment, but as soon as you step in, you got to be on. You got to be positive. And the reality is, I'm not always positive. I have a very negative side, but people don't need to see that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? There's a time and a place to be vulnerable, but being there for everybody else all the time, it can be overwhelming, and it's okay to be real. Like I said, it's just the time and the place for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially if these people are coming to you, paying for you. Like, they don't want to hear your problems. Like, I'm coming to you for my
You're paying
problems.
a car note to come train, to come be inspired and uplifted. I don't want to hear about you breaking down on the freeway because then I'm going to be stressed out, and I never want a client to feel guilted into training with me. If you leave, I want to have integrity, and I want to say, hey, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have been able to work with you, and I hope that you continue on your journey. If you have questions, you can reach out to me. I'm not going to be an a-hole to you and just be like, you're not paying me no more, don't reach out to me.
Time is done.
Yes. But I always want to make sure that my clients feel like they are number one priority when they come here. And when they ask me questions, of course I'll answer, but I don't get too into my real emotions when I'm feeling negative.
Gotcha. So that being said, have you ever like come across personal trainers that will kind of like try to guilt people into coming back, like, oh man, rent's
not
really
here,
gonna be tough.
not here.
Well,
but
let me tell you,
because rent's gonna be tough to pay this week.
So here's the thing. I feel like it's subconscious. I feel like they're not consciously guilting their clients, but they're having a hard time. They don't want to lose out on money, and they're just venting because this is our home away from home. So our clients become like our family. A lot of trainers get really close with their clients. I'm close with a lot of my clients too. It's people go back and forth on if that is a good thing or a bad thing. But I just definitely think that there should be some professionalism in regards to your emotions when you're in the gym. If you're out with your clients and you're celebrating something with them and they ask you questions, you're a human being. That is not their paid hour. You can talk about your emotions, but I would just
absolutely. There's a time and place, right?
You get into that.
There's a time and place, and when you're at your workplace, you kind of have to check your emotions at the door. And
Okay. All right, back at it. So it's so good that you're able to kind of bring up those things, and yes, being able to have an outlet is really important. And for those people who may not have an outlet, talk about some of the things other than the gym that you're using as an outlet. You know, who do you talk to? Who do you have as like a support system?
So it would definitely be my husband, my mom, and God. I go to God whenever I am feeling frustrated or insecure, or I don't know what my next move is. I'm going to pray about it before I act on it. Both my husband and my mom have been sound support systems. They let me know when I'm in my head, and they will also check me when I'm wrong. I love to be surrounded by people who will check me respectfully because it just helps me be better.
That's awesome.
Exactly. You can't have yes men around you all
Not
the
at
time.
all.
No, you're not growing at that point.
Exactly.
And I think there's a big confusion too with this generation when they talk about support. It almost seems like they just want someone that just agrees with them.
They want validation. That's not
Thank
support.
You. They just want the validation. Like, I'm doing good, right? Or support me in this, or make sure that I'm feeling good about this. When someone who's really going to be the best for you may be there to check you.
Right.
And maybe there to just be, you know, there's plenty of times where, you know, I have done something and my wife has just been like, kind of looking at me like, I shouldn't have done that, right? No, I wouldn't have. And so
I could so imagine Tina.
And God bless her, man. My woman, you know, Tina is an amazing woman of God, and she loves to make sure that everybody in the household is taken care of and all of our needs are met. And she is also one of the realest women ever. She will be like, she won't hound me on the thing, but she'll wait for the perfect time so that her words are effective and the weight of them is as heavy as possible. Not to hurt me or anything, but just to make sure that I understand the gravity of the situation.
That's a wise woman.
Exactly.
Yes, and shout out to Tina. I love her. And we just celebrated 14 years together.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Been together for
Congratulations.
18, married for 14. And so, yes, definitely put our time in together. But you need someone that will, like you said, check you from time to time.
Yes.
And so get in there and get yourself a trainer, to
Yeah,
check
dude.
you every once in a
I mean,
while too.
definitely.
What would you say, like, if we're talking about our generation, right? Okay, so like, we don't you don't want yes man, and this is kind of, anyone can butt in because this may be controversial, right? But we all know emotions are valid, right?
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, to a certain extent, though, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like you don't want yes man, like, yep, that's exactly how you're supposed to be acting. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Or even
Although
like a fit, like, yes, that fit looks great.
Yeah.
Even though it
Oh
looked
my
like
god.
shit.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, although all emotions are valid, I think it's how you go about them, right? Like,
For sure.
if you're like getting irate or like super upset about something that really this person shouldn't really, I don't know a specific example,
Yeah.
but like, what would you think? Do you think that our generation is now like conforming to the idea that, oh no, however they act, however they react to any situation, that's valid, that's the that's the way to
for
go about
sure.
it, when really it's not. I think that our generation is kind of like, for lack of better words, getting a little bit soft.
Oh, for sure. I
Like
mean,
like
Very
they
soft.
just they're
Very
just
soft.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean, like
I feel like, there's a difference between having your feelings and emotions and then action. I can be pissed off, but that doesn't give me the right to go beat somebody up.
Absolutely.
I can be super sad, but that doesn't give me the right to come up in this gym and to bring down the energy of this gym.
Just like a
Yeah.
jump
So
around, yeah.
so I feel like our generation, they all want to be validated, which is fine.
Yes.
But at some point, when do you put your big girl panties on and take on what you need to take on?
Yeah.
For
Not
sure.
everything I do is easy, and not everything I do is pleasant. However, you have to take that in stride.
yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
We've
And
said this a
it's like-
couple of times. Like,
Yeah.
emotions are good, but an emotionally reactive person is not good. You
For
you
sure.
can't
That's emotional immaturity.
exactly.
Yeah, and like another thing to add on, like, say in that situation for you, you're one of my best friends, right? And
Okay.
I'm not just gonna let you turn into a bum. So, like, say there was ever a point in your life where you just started to like lose it, and you're like, "Hey, Xander, am I doing the right thing?" Yeah, dude, keep going at it, man.
We've literally
You
had
put on, like-
conversations,
yeah,
bro. That's
I know.
how we're so close. Like,
Exactly. You put on 50 pounds, dude. You haven't taken a shower in a couple days, but as long as you're happy.
Yeah.
Like,
That,
I'm
to
gonna keep
me-
you
that
in
has
check.
never happened.
Well, that's
I'm
not
making
real
that clear.
friends,
That is-
yeah.
I feel like real friends really want to see you grow.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've
Yep.
been put in situations where I've had to leave the friendship for a little bit because I'm like, I want you to grow, but bro, if you're not growing, I gotta go.
Yeah.
healthy boundaries.
Because at this point, it's like you're dragging me down. I want to lift you up, but if you can't come with me or you're not even making strides to do better, I can't be around you.
No,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
You know?
something that's literally has
Very
been an
recent.
ongoing thing for me and him with other friends and stuff like
Sure.
that. We've been called Hollywood, we've been called something like that, and we've been we've changed and stuff like that. And my mindset is like, yes, I have changed. Like I'm 22 years old now. I'm not 18. I don't do dumb shit, anymore, or nearly as often.
Yeah,
we'll just
nearly
say.
as often.
So when they're doing the same stuff, and that's just not my forte anymore, they see it as I've changed. Well, yes, I've changed. We're supposed to evolve, not stay stagnant where we
Yes.
are. You know what I mean? If life was easy, then we're just go-getters. Like we just are always looking for the next thing. We always want to be successful, and that's where you start seeing it. It's like, what are you gonna do? Like if you elevate yourself up here, are you gonna bring yourself down to be with friends that you've been, or are you gonna tell them, no, dude, like elevate yourself and meet me
Yeah.
where I'm
Well,
at?
yeah.
Like
Can
I'm
only
not
do so much
stooping
more.
down. Like, you know what I mean?
And if
I'm
I
not,
could piggyback off of that real quick, like one of the things that we're trying to do is bring on, like what we said, high caliber guests.
Yes.
And, when you meet certain people that are about a certain lifestyle and they're about action and business and a forward momentum, you can kind of feel it. It's infectious, and you want to start working with those people even more, and it makes
Yeah.
you want to elevate your game even more. So as we are growing with the pod and getting in guests who are more and more like-minded and want to achieve all these goals, again, it's infectious. You want to be about it. It makes you reflect
Yeah.
upon the things that you're putting your energy and your time into.
Absolutely.
And it makes you think, like, could I step it up somewhere?
Absolutely.
Within the first couple of podcasts that we did where I was slipping on some things, Xan brought it up, and it's like, man, Xan's on top of this. Like, it makes me want to step up some things. And so it's really good to surround yourself with those people that will check you. And that it's important to realize that growth can occur, but sometimes there's something called growing pains as well.
Yes.
And we learned a lot about that from our last episode with Smitty. And for y'all out there, check out that episode with Smit. It was an amazing episode. He's got an amazing testimony. He's a great man of God, and just really broke down a lot of trials and tribulations. But one of the things that he also did was he was very generous about bringing in some Sminnies to try out. And we did a little
still
taste
be thinking
testing.
about those.
Yes. Now, I wasn't on the pod. Parents came down from Arizona, hadn't seen them for almost a year, so spent a little bit of time with them. Shout out Mom and Dad, because I know you're going to be watching. I spent a little time with them. I tried a Smitty cake for the first time, and it blessed my taste buds. Like you said. Like you said it would. And we actually, we always try and make sure that our guests are comfortable and get some snacks and some drinks and stuff. And one of the things that we had asked Hannah was, can we get you a snack or a drink? And she said, you know what? I need to try a Smitty cake.
Yeah.
And you don't know the amount of things we did for this Smitty cake. All
They
right.
put an effort.
Yeah.
It was a trip. It was
We woke up bright and early.
Yeah, Smith. You know, I talked to Smitty. Smitty's like, "Hey, I'll be at this location at 7 a.m. sharp." Looked at Xander. I'm like,
I looked at Ethan. I'm like,
heads or tails, who's gonna go get it?
I was like, I wake up. You know, I wanted to sleep in.
Yeah.
Nah, but I'm just joking. It was worth it.
Got some
My
for the
whole
family.
my whole family tried some. They all loved them. This was on Wednesday. It is now Sunday. So I try to preserve. I mean, we preserved it as best we can. Let's hope
Refrigerated.
it's.
You put it in the refrigerator, right?
So,
I was in the
have
I just left it in my car.
left in the backyard.
Yeah.
No.
So, is this your first Smitty cake?
Yes. Well, I have a backstory.
Okay.
Give us the
Okay,
story. Give
all
us
right.
this. Give us the history.
So, I was so excited when you asked me about what snack I wanted, and I had said Smitty cakes, and I smoked a little that night. And the next day, I guess he had brought them into one of the local gyms that he provides them at, and I had tried one prior to you guys getting one. But you guys were going to put in so much effort. But I hadn't tried.
Munchie's got the best of you, Hannah. Oh my gosh.
But you know what? I thought that the journey that you guys went through just to get this for me, I didn't want to like rain on your parade.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, by the
Yeah.
time.
Until right now, live.
Well, you know
No,
what?
just
I'm an
joking.
honest person. So
Okay, so hold on one second. So what Smitty cake did you get when you tried it? Do you remember the flavor?
I kind of blacked out and just ate it.
You were just
Okay,
like,
what-
nom,
okay,
nom, nom.
what was
No,
it?
okay.
And,
Thank you so
and
much.
what would you rate it out of 10?
I would rate it a 9.5 out of 10.
Damn.
Okay.
Because
High score.
You don't remember the flavor?
okay, strawberry was
Strawberry
one of them, like strawberry
cheesecake.
cheesecake. Yes.
Yes.
And then
Oh, that sounds
I think it was like a cinnamon cake or something like that.
The coffee
Chocolate.
the
Was it the
the,
praline? The coffee praline?
No, it wasn't.
No.
It
It
was
was that.
salted
It was that. It
The
was
salted
that.
praline?
Salted
Yeah.
praline?
That was my that's my favorite.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked that one. So
We get a little too excited about flavors over here. Like, which one? What-
you know, so I have not tried the blueberry lemon. I'm really excited to try it, and I'm still going to try it on the pod.
Okay.
Because you guys went through
Let's
so
go.
much effort.
Yeah.
Let's do
Zan,
it.
You want to? I was gonna say you can hold her mic, but
Yeah,
we're good
I'll
there.
hold it like this.
Get that ready.
All right, guys, you ready?
So this is the first time trying this flavor.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll from the drummer. And our time to let it savor. She's thinking about it.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
It is amazing
Leave it to Smith.
because it's not dry. When
Yeah.
you try,
I'm so glad it preserved well, dude. I was like so weird. I was like, I hope it's good.
It's really good. It's a little dry. Dang it!
Yeah.
That's Ethan.
Yeah,
his
that would have been me.
preservation
That would have been
skills.
me.
No.
No, yeah, it's weird how because when you take like protein bars are nowhere near this. We're not even gonna discuss about protein
They
bars.
fucking suck.
So
Most of them are not good.
yeah, no,
most
they
of them
do.
are good.
no,
they're
but
chalky.
it's like it's the moistness, and I know whatever. It's the moistness of the cake. It tastes like a damn like brownie that just came out the oven, or like a cupcake that just got
Yes.
done.
Crazy.
Because it has
You
like it's not even a frosting, but it's almost got like a
He
frosting
said a
on
protein
top.
glaze.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he said
it's
it's a protein
really
glaze.
amazing. No, I love it.
He talked about the process of it. It's multi-layered.
Yeah.
Each layer's
Yeah.
got a little something,
little something,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's crazy.
You can tell that he has a lot of love for his business and the way, and his products reflect it. His customers reflect it.
Yeah,
and if you
for
have
sure.
you well I don't know, but when we had him on the first on season 1, he told us about how he came about making Smitty cakes and how he basically saw his grandmother that had been passed for a while, and he.
Heard her voice.
She gave him a direct message. You know, he was gonna start making him like this, and he said, you know, she like almost with a commanding voice, like, no, don't do it like that. Like,
buy this.
You know what? You need to need to do it this way. You know, this is the right way. You do it this way. Mm-hmm. He did it, and it started blowing up. Like, he is so deeply rooted in his faith. I think that you would like that first episode if you're wondering how it all came to be.
I definitely need to watch it.
Yeah. Any one of you, as well.
Yeah,
people at home watching. It's a great story.
Smitty's a great man, and we definitely had a lot to talk about. One of the things also that we like to do on the shows, we talk about some hot topics, some things that are happening in currently today and in the world.
Boy,
today,
bro, today. So today is the 14th.
The 14th.
Today's the 14th,
which is Sunday. Sunday the 14th.
Saturday the 13th.
I don't really think anything that crazy.
Nothing crazy happened.
Yeah, no.
In the geopolitical world, for those that follow, we do talk about politics, more so just on the current events or what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump. There was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump
in Pennsylvania.
Which
is actually the home state of his
rival.
Yeah, his rival.
Yeah,
is it?
Joe
That's
Beasy.
crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Scranton, same place.
Joe Biden is from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Where they filmed The Office?
We're from The Office, same place.
It's all making sense.
It's all coming together.
Assassination attempts, kind of crazy. We're living through history, guys.
No, that is.
Regardless of your perspective on politics, you don't have to follow politics to know, like, we're living through history. That's kind of like a crazy thing to think about. Like, what's y'all perspective on that? Like, how do you feel, like, knowing, like, you see something, you're like, wow, this is
honestly,
people are gonna remember about this long after I'm gone.
I wasn't. I'm not surprised, but I am at the same time. Like, I definitely thought something. I don't know if it was gonna be a shooting, but like, and I don't know, dude. I just think so many people don't like Donald Trump. I think more so, like, now a lot of people are starting to like him because of stuff like this.
Because like
they're like, whoa, this is like really weird. Yeah, this is really weird. But like, I don't know. Yeah, the picture when his like ears all bloody and he's like, good, like,
dude, I've been seeing so many reposts on
Thank
Instagram.
you for answering my question.
No, I was gonna. No.
Well, have you guys seen the conspiracy theories surrounding it, like saying that it was set up either
by him
in favor of him and then also set up by his opponent? So I just think that it was really interesting how the Secret Service took so long to get him down, how the crowd didn't really react. I just feel like, you know, if there's an active shooter, people might go a little bit more crazy. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
interesting.
I 100%. I think that he was shooting like a 22 long rifle round or something like that. And I think, like, with so much noise, like, me personally, not everyone, but like those things done like choo choo choo. So I'd be like, did a balloon just pop? Like, what's going on? Like, that's not like a
the
boom,
only reason
boom,
why
boom.
I'm a little hesitant to believe the 22 caliber story, just because someone else passed away in the crowd.
Yeah.
And from that distance, if it's already and it's a breezy day and stuff like that, would it have the penetrating power to just instantly? Would it?
100%, dude. A bullet's a bullet.
No, I know, but you can still get shot with a
where did he shoot
22
from?
gauge from like this distance, and depending on the thickness of your skull, it may not go.
I mean, who knows if it hits your carotid or your femoral?
The crowd said that it hit him directly in the head, and it like it.
Damn.
Yeah, unalived him with some scatter.
Well, it could have been what is it? The high.
The velocity?
The high velocity rounds or something. High velocity 22 rounds or whatever.
Splitting hairs. But either way, yeah, some crazy stuff is happening. There are some people in the crowd that were saying, hey, cops, there's somebody climbing up on this roof over here, and they didn't do anything.
Oh, really?
There's footage of
I'm
this.
probably just trying to get a better view.
But what's crazy is the video of them, because I think that the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. I think so. And I saw a video of like 3 police officers carrying him down stands, like the stands. I saw the sniper on the roof, like, looking around, and then the shots ring out, and he's like,
"This is prime for just a lot of conspiracy."
I know.
Yeah.
Well, how about this one?
Conspiracy theorists are gonna love it.
I am a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, are you?
I am a big conspiracy theorist.
We do love talking about conspiracies on here.
I feel like the music industry is very demonic. I don't know if you guys ever see me in the gym, but when Doja Cat is playing, I run over and I turn it off. I don't listen to her no more.
Yeah.
I like her old stuff, but all of her new stuff, it's too too creepy.
Yeah, she signed a deal with the devil.
Oh, she for sure did, and she jokes about it, and I don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's not.
So yeah, I believe the conspiracies.
No,
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
the powers that be, there's definitely some chess movers in the
Right.
game of life. And
Right.
they're trying to orchestrate a lot of things.
I want to see. I'm
What are you
gonna Google.
doing?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
Google when the last time. When the how many years
JFK.
ago it was? How many years ago was that though?
Wasn't that like in?
That was like 40 something.
I'm not sure.
I think I
I'm
was-
horrible with that type
I
of
need to look
history.
it up, but and I also want to see how many times it's been a conservative president
The last
versus
three.
versus
I
a
think it was
Democratic
three,
president.
It was the
wasn't
last
it?
three.
Reagan, Kennedy,
It was Kennedy
and now
Trump.
Trump, yes.
So all the past three have all been Republican, either presidents or nominees, and so I think if anything, this is definitely kind of making people look at the spectrum of politics for the past 4 to actually 8 years since Trump has been in the presidency. You know, they didn't really want him to run, and so you start throwing out some smears on the name. And again, however you want to interpret those, what was said is up to you. We're not trying to do anything here other than talk about what's really happening. And
1963.
you talk about the name, and he still gets elected. I think they threw 2 impeachments at him, and he was still the president, indicted, and then threw federal charges, and none of that did anything. He only became more popular.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, if we add all these up, there's only a few things left you can kind of do.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Whoa.
where Tucker Carlson was talking about, like, I think they may end up trying to assassinate this guy.
Yeah.
And then I think 3 weeks later they tried.
Well, even Andrew Tate, when Andrew Tate was big, regardless of what you guys think of Andrew Tate, the first thing he was like, first they try to take your accounts away, right? And he got banned on everything. Then they try to throw you in jail. Then the indictments, and then third, they try to just off you. And I think that is literally what happened. They took away his thing. He had to make Trump social. That now he's getting the indictments. Bro, he probably did have hush money, but like, bro, like they would not have even tried if he wasn't running. They wouldn't have even gone after him. In the last 4 years too, it's just weird. Like you look on certain news stations. I don't watch the news, but when it's on a TV somewhere, they're still talking about this man even before. It's like, dude, let him live his life. Like, why are you talking about him still?
Yeah.
You need to talk about how Joe Biden can't walk up a flight of stairs.
Yeah,
or like it doesn't make sense. Did you watch the candidate the
debate?
Did you guys watch the
It's
debate?
just shameful. It's shameful for this country. I mean, America. Well, I don't want to put that out there, but it feels like a joke, and it's embarrassing. I come from a family where we have a lot of military in our family, and this is not the same country that my grandpa fought for. It's just not.
Definitely not.
And it's sad. It is sad. I think that there's some progressive movements that have been positive. However, I just feel like that presidential debate was very embarrassing. And I had seen somewhere, social media, I had seen somewhere where some individual was talking. They're like, they don't care what side wins as long as the American people are divided. And that's what we are. We are divided.
That's very true.
That's
So
facts.
people can't have a conversation anymore. I want someone to disagree with me respectfully and come to me with facts. You can change my mind. I'm open-minded, but come to me with facts instead of your emotions. I don't care about your feelings.
100%.
Respectfully, when it comes to policies, I don't want to hear your feelings. I want to hear the facts and how it's affecting you, and that the validity behind that is going to be the reason why maybe it may sway my vote.
Yeah, for sure.
As it should. I think that's how it should be. Unfortunately, like you said, I think we were talking about this before the pod started with what was the term, rage bait. A lot of people
Yes.
want to use that to just get clicks and views and things because anger is the number
An
one
emotional
emotion
response, right?
of
Yeah.
retention for viewership.
Yeah.
So if you can get them mad and hopped up, then you're gonna get.
We're very like-minded in that sense. Just bring me actual facts. And my dad being a police officer for 30 years, right? They like to put crazy headlines out there, and then you actually look about who this person was and all of his criminal history and aggravated assault on a peace officer, all this different type of stuff.
Such a sweet boy.
Yeah, and then you're like, you look at the dude. It's crazy, and it's an emotional response. They put these out there to be like, whoa, like what happened there? But the same thing with policies. Yeah, look at it, but look into it. And if you
Yes.
disagree
Look
with
into
me after looking at the facts, like I believe in statistical analysis and stuff that is fact that has
Right.
been tested and stuff. You can feel however you want. It doesn't make it the truth. That's
Right.
how I view it, right? So I don't know. But a lot of people in our generation are more so emotionally driven.
Or just like
how
see
you
whatever the
feel,
first
how you
thing that
feel
they
is
see,
right. How you
Right.
feel
they're
is
gonna
right.
believe.
Yeah. It's like no. If this has been tested 30 times, this is the way. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. This is the way. Like. I guess you don't have to agree, but that doesn't make it. That doesn't make it right.
Yeah, it doesn't make it any different.
It's okay. We can agree to disagree. Just read the facts, and at least you know what actually happened.
Yeah,
That's the best thing. Like
the thing that's like my biggest problem is people will have like different like political beliefs and then just like stop messing with people after that, like even family members or friends, just cut them off just because you don't believe the same thing. And it's like, all right, like I can respect your opinion if you don't want to like, if this is that serious for you, then okay, then do your own thing.
But I also respect, my tia's cooking, so I'm gonna watch what I say when I go over there.
Exactly.
Because I want some of these tamales. You feel me?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, I don't mind being quiet at this point.
Yeah.
That's cool, tia.
Yeah.
it's not end all be all. It's just
no. And,
So-
yeah.
Sorry.
No, go for it, please.
What do you guys feel about if Trump gets reelected, having a felon as a president?
As far
I
as
think that there are many presidents that do we have to talk about what's why am I blinking right now? The Oval Office incident.
with
Right.
you're talking
And what about
Bill Clinton?
Yeah. And what about
Lewinsky,
Hillary
yeah.
with the 36,000 emails to
Sure.
whatever? She didn't get in trouble for that. I think honestly, even though Donald Trump maybe hush money and people think he's crooked, I think it's choose the better of the worst.
Yeah.
And him just saying like, hey, be quiet. Here's some money versus like doing some shady stuff with foreign countries,
Right.
and deleting 36,000 emails. And I just I want world peace, so I know that Putin and all these countries in the Middle East, they know Trump. Like they know, like if you're messing with the United States, I mean, we went to Afghanistan and not one person died in 18 months because I think it was the leader of Al Qaeda. He sat down with them and he said, if you touch one, if one person gets hurt over there, then we are going to bring the entire force of the United States military on top of your head. And he showed him a picture of his house.
Picture of his house,
He showed him a picture of his house and put it on the table. And then you know what the leader said? He said, "Of course, Your Excellency." He called the leader of the Taliban called him Your Excellency. And you don't need someone that's going to do that, but you need someone who actually is about it. Like if they
cognitive.
is cognitive.
Yeah.
He's a businessman.
I don't
He's
care
made
about
billions of dollars of deals. He can deal with foreign affairs. Whatever it is, like if there was another candidate, I would look into it more, but Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, it's like I don't care about hush money. Like our president needs to be able to complete a full sentence and talk to
Sure, but in regards to having a felon as
felon.
a president, do you feel like maybe it would be wise of him to look more into justice reform? Because I do have family that's incarcerated, and it's not rehabilitative. It
No, not
makes
at all.
people worse, and a lot of these people go in, some innocent, some not, and some either make it out and they're worse, they make it out and they're barely getting by, they're making it out and they're homeless, or they die in there. So do you think that this might be a good opportunity for him to really
Seek
change
justice?
the way that we run our justice
judicial
system?
system.
I think so.
I
for
think-
sure.
I hope so, because you look at what he did in his presidency the first term, and he was really big with the First Step Act, and that was something that I believe Kim Kardashian was also a part of to get
What was it?
Letitia James out. The First Step Act.
First Step
it
Act.
I'm
was-
not familiar.
Okay, so what he ended up doing was for people that were in charge for these horrific sentences that were implemented during the Clinton era, where these people were called super predators for selling crack cocaine in small amounts. the first offense was something astronomical, like 7 to 10 years for the first time of having something less than like a couple of rocks in your hand. If they're individually bagged, you had the intent to sell, so therefore you are a super predator in the community, and you will be going away for 7 to 10 years. Well, a lot of these people per rock now are looking at 20, 30, 45 years. Okay, so what he is saying is, as a 17-year-old who is selling rocks on the corner, you probably were doing this because you were an idiot. And by the time you're 20, 21, 22, you've probably learned your lesson. So if you haven't had any sort of egregious like attacks or anything on your record since you've been an inmate, you automatically apply for early release. You go in front of your parole board, and if you don't have any of these offenses, you're released.
I remember something like that. I just didn't remember it was that.
It was called the First Step Act. And Kim Kardashian was a pretty big advocate in trying to get some awareness to this act that freed a lot of people who were incarcerated, like this lady Letitia James, I believe was her name, who literally was like the textbook, I'm here feeding my family. I got a young daughter. I'm a single mom. Like, I'm literally trying to make it.
Right.
And I'm selling these rocks because it's the only thing that's available in my community.
Right.
Witnessed other people raising her daughter through glass and all these things, and was finally freed based upon these new policy changes. So I think this would only kind of expedite Trump's want for justice, because he has been a big advocate against the judicial system and the arm of the law within it.
Perfectly said.
I also think that this is a big eye-opener for people who have been an advocate for the injustices in the justice system when it comes to overhanding of sentences, when it comes to the construction of private prison facilities for profit. I think a lot of people just kind of brush that under the table and think, well, if you're a criminal, you can't do the crime, can't do the time, don't do the crime. And a lot of times it's true, but there's caveats to every single situation.
Absolutely.
And so I think this opened up a lot of people's eyes to like, hey, maybe, when all of these underprivileged and minority communities are saying that the system's rigged against us, I think they may be onto something.
Maybe we should look into it.
Maybe we really need to look into this, because if they're doing it to this dude who is one of the most affluent, individuals that is supposed to be, I think the left has a way of kind of demonizing people that have money. And if you're this billionaire, you got to be bad. And so add all of these things together, plus his skin complexion, makes him this person that needs to be demonized, when really now in reality this man is been put on a level of the people now by the system, if you will. And so now the people who have been affected by it see themselves in this person and go, wow, he's experiencing what I've experienced, what my cousins experienced, what my dad's experienced, there's people whose crime, that's their family. I'm
hoping it will open up the eyes of people who haven't had to experience this, and it ends up being good for the country. Now, my next question would be, do you think that felons should have a right to vote if we have a felon as a president?
Yeah, because now he won't be able to vote. Right. That is such a good question, too. That's so funny. Me and my wife were actually talking about this.
It's a very interesting thing to think about, because we haven't ever had a felon president. And a lot of these people, they are reformed. They have experienced a lot of life. And it might be beneficial to get them to vote. I mean, we have people coming in from other countries able to vote. Why shouldn't we have our own citizens who have been reformed able to vote?
100%. If they've been reformed, and however they would do that by, I don't know,
going to school,
or even
doing fire camp.
I could see something like that.
I would 100% level with you. If they're reformed and they're like an actual contributing part to society after doing that, and it was a fluke and that was them back then, that's not them now, 100%, I think that they should have all their rights, even their Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms. If they've shown 5 or 10 years, that they're a good year after parole, and went through whatever, even a court processing like that gets signed off by a judge, even hey, I've been doing this and this, like I've really turned my life around. Okay, boom, you know what I mean?
I agree.
I would 100% be behind that, but it would. I would be more so like 5 or 10 years. Like someone could be good for 2 years and then
fall back into
back into it. You never know, right? You never know.
I agree. I think so, and I think that this has definitely put President Trump in a light of more familiarity with like the common person. It's like, oh, you've had charges on you, you've had public, disdain towards you, and you've stood again, you've been shot at and you survived. It's like, it's almost like, they turned this man into a cult hero.
Yeah,
they really have. He went from being just a martyr to now a full-on hero with that. So that's crazy. Either way, even if it was the tables were turned, I wouldn't want to be living in a country where I'm seeing our current president Biden get shot at.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, it's kind of like I think it was Jordan Peterson who was talking about existential threats leads to internal galvanization.
Yes.
And so it's like, I look at it like, and how he broke that down was like, if you're, you could be beefing with your brother and sister, but the moment you go outside and play catch football with the people down your block, it's automatically going to be you and your brother versus those two people.
Yeah.
Right.
And if the people from around the block want to play your block, it's going to be your block versus their block.
Right.
And so on and so forth.
Right.
And so no matter what, if someone is talking smack on as a foreigner, if someone, came from London, it's like, oh, you dumb Americans and your dumb Biden.
And your presidents.
You dumb Biden. I'd be like, don't talk about my president.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't
Yeah.
even really care for the guy. But it's still my country. This is my president. I don't know what you think you're doing, but we're thick. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of how I feel about like that existential threat leading to internal kind of galvanization. And I think that is what's going to happen with Trump. I think a lot of people are feeling threatened by what is happening, and it's a palpable kind of tension and angst in the air about inflation and just how hard things kind of are to survive right now. And I think people are now internally galvanizing together and realizing this problem is kind of bigger than us.
Right.
So that's what I'm really hopeful for the most out of all of this is a galvanization of the common American to realize this is kind of crazy. We need to stop the beef, and we need to realize what's important for all of us. That's what I'm hopeful for.
Yeah.
Man, well said, Phil.
And even with all this being said,
you always know how to say it, man.
even with all this being said, it's like our votes. I mean, in California, it's like they probably won't even matter. I mean, they do
And
matter,
then the
but
pessimist.
Yeah, I know, right?
nah, dude,
Classic pessimism.
Nah,
man.
dude, you look. Come on, man.
No, I just
You really like.
Regardless,
you really
put
think
in
this
your
would be a
votes.
red state? Like California's never going to be a red state ever.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, maybe not in our lifetime.
Hey, dude.
Not in our lifetime.
Hey, dude.
bro.
Hey, how about the glass be half full?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe this is the year.
Hannah, would you consider yourself more of a pessimist or an optimist when it comes to difficult situations?
I would consider myself a realist. I kind of look at the pros and cons of every situation, and I take a moment to reflect on it. I think that there's a lot of things that are very scary, but if I focus too much on it, I become overwhelmed and I short circuit. But if I'm too optimistic, I don't know, it comes off a little aloof, like, oh, everything's going to be great. Well, it's not. So my perspective is change can be good, change can be scary. I think that any president getting shot, the country looks to outside perspectives as if we are in disarray, and I don't think that that's a good look. And I hope that we can come together as people and have something that we can all agree on. And I think that one thing that we can all agree on is that the economy sucks.
Yeah.
The economy sucks, and that was another thing that I was really just upset about the other night. I work so hard. I do really well for myself, and a 1-bedroom apartment in my small little city is the price of my parents' mortgage in the home that I grew up in with this huge backyard, 3-bedroom, 2-story, and I'm just like, it's a little defeating. And so if we can have somebody in office who is willing to make the changes necessary for us, the people, to survive, I think everybody would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I mean, most people back in the day our age were already moving out, and now
Right.
that's like...
Right.
100%.
We had houses, wives and husbands, families, and people could do that, working at a library.
Yeah.
You didn't need to be like this entrepreneur making $150,000 to $250,000. The price of goods is going up so much, inflation is going up so much that we're not making enough. And I feel like people think that if we make more, we're gonna be able to afford more. No, because the price of goods is going to continue to go
Right.
up. So it's like this cat and mouse chase. The price of goods need to go down, and I don't know if that has to do with our relationship in foreign affairs. I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I believe the yen is now more. That's the number one currency over the U.S. dollar now,
right?
And that happened recently too.
Yeah, it was actually in the end of June when they switched from the petrodollar. They switched off the petrodollar, which basically everyone had to buy oil. If you were buying oil from any oil-producing Middle Eastern country, you had to purchase it in U.S. dollars. So you would have to go and get yourself transferred from the yen to U.S. dollars, then buy your oil for your country, and then you got to do whatever you needed with it. Well, now all of these nations got together and said, "Well, that deal is done and over. It ended in June of 2024, and we collectively, as these oil-producing nations, are not going to sign back onto it." And so now the value that was in the U.S. dollar that made it so valuable. Why is it so valuable? Even though all we do is print it, because the number one thing that makes the world churn, oil, is bought and sold and traded in our currency. That no longer is the standard anymore. So as we're continuously printing money and sending it overseas to places like Ukraine and sending it out to all of these other subsidized states that need federal assistance with this influx of migration coming from across the border, that value of that printed dollar is just plummeting. And that's happening right now. So when you talk about things being expensive, unfortunately, because of that change that you had just mentioned, things are only going to get worse unless we have somebody come in and change it.
With the almost like the complete opposite mindset.
Someone's got to come back in and
like,
convince these nations, hey, we need to get back on the petrodollar.
Well, here, like Donald Trump, I think, he did already say this. He said that he's going to be eliminating the federal income tax.
That would be sweet.
He said he's gonna boost the tariffs on Chinese goods.
Yeah.
And they're basically going to be paying for what the United States would be collecting for federal income tax. And if you really think about it, I think it was like 1865 when Abraham Lincoln put a 3% federal income tax to fund the war. We should have stopped paying the federal income tax all the way back then. It was supposed to end after the war.
Well, income tax was just supposed to be like for the top 1% earner of the entire United States.
No,
and then
dude,
that trickled down to 10%, then 15%. Now everybody got paid.
We're taxed on the roads we drive. We're taxed on the
crazy.
buyers.
On everything.
Everything.
As a business owner, it hurts.
As a
watching so much
California
money
business
goes
owner,
out.
because you guys are taxed even more than the majority of other states out there.
Well, for
as a
me,
California business owner,
I'm what is it? I don't know the right term for it, but I give my money to things that are important to me, like for foster kids or pit bulls and shelters that are about to be euthanized. I like to give out my money because I rather do that than have to pay taxes on things that I don't.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, it's all a write-off, and anyways too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So might as well know where your money is going.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. Again, pit bulls were.
Yeah.
We right there. The big dog,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All of our dogs have been rescue dogs. All
Mine
of them
too.
that we've ever had, and they just appreciate it more.
Yeah.
They definitely, that bond is there. They know, man, I was this close, bro. Right here, bro. So there's just there's a bond. I think they kind of know.
Yeah.
But other than that, we like to talk about hot topics. That's definitely one of the biggest ones right now. I think a lot of people are going to be talking through that. Living through history as we're waking up every day, new history is happening.
100%.
But Zan is usually our guy for the hot topics. Did you have another hot topic for us today, Zan?
That was
One in
the biggest thing going on.
That's kind of no. That's kind of what I figured.
I mean, there's the sketch thing, but that's kind of.
Oh my
sketch.
goodness, that's
I
big.
heard about that.
You heard about that too?
Yeah.
What's
You heard
the
about
sketch?
that?
No.
You know who Sketch is?
The streamer.
Sketch is a
He's like the
sketch
What's
is a
Up
live
Brother.
I just saw something about that
Yeah,
today. What's up,
he's a
brother?
live
He did
streamer.
OnlyFans with men.
Yeah.
Way back
So
in the day.
he's just receiving a lot of backlash for it, which
A lot of stuff's
I don't
coming out.
I don't really understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, the internet
I've
can be
watched his
ruthless.
streams.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched his streams. He is so funny. Him and Jinxie are so funny. And I watched Jinxie's reaction to the him admitting to all the allegations and stuff. And even then, he was making a joke out of it. He's like, I did not have sexual relations with that man. And he's like, I'm just kidding. Yes, I did. Yeah, he's like, yes, I did. But Yeah, Jinxie got really emotional. He's like, dude, Sketch was my friend yesterday. He's my friend today, and he's gonna be my friend tomorrow. He's like, he did absolutely.
I think Banks said the same thing.
Yeah. He's like, you guys are like weirdos. He's like, why does it matter what someone did in their past, especially if he's not hurting anyone? Like, he's literally not hurting anybody. Like,
exactly.
Right.
I saw a couple other
mean?
people too. They were saying like, oh, it's not the fact that he didn't lie, but he just didn't say anything. It's like, bro, it's not like he doesn't have to
say anything. And it's crazy.
You can keep some things personal, and it came out. It's the internet. It sucks.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to speak on it, and he didn't want to speak on it for a reason.
Yeah.
And
this is right.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
It's a little different from the Doc Disrespect thing.
Oh my goodness
that
gracious!
too.
That's so there's another streamer. He goes by Dr. Disrespect, and that's his persona. And he got caught up on some stuff, man, talking to what he thought was an underaged individual.
It was confirmed.
It was confirmed. Well, and then there were some rumors that individual was a plant and that they were trying to fish and see if they could get somebody. And so that's why Dr. Disrespect's first announcement talking about it was something along the lines of lawyers looked into it, both parties looked into it, no laws were broken, no one was hurt, everything's fine, I'll be back streaming whenever. And then broke it down a little bit more, and someone from Twitch said, no, like, Twitch has had an influx in this type of activity, so they started baiting people to try and see if they could catch people doing this type of stuff. They caught Dr. Disrespect. It turns out that this person was like 34, posing as a 16 to 17-year-old individual. And so knowing that they're posing as this age, it's not like, Doc, you just didn't do anything wrong because no laws were broken. It's like, no, you got caught, bro. You thought you were talking to somebody underage. And so I'm
and he confirmed it too. Like, he tweeted it. He's like, yeah, I did that, but like, not to worry, I'll be back to streaming in no time.
It's like, no, but we don't care about your Call of Duty streams.
Different.
Like,
the sketch stuff is one thing. That is a whole different thing. Like, that is like,
that's a mistake,
no.
or it's something that he did in his private time with two consenting adults. That's different versus a whole, pedo, or he's attempting to be one. And just because it wasn't illegal doesn't mean that it wasn't morally wrong. And I feel like people are getting a little desensitized to pedophilia, and here's why. Because in the song by Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, he calls Drake a pedo, and everybody's like rapping that song, they're singing it with their chest out, and I'm like, do you know what you're saying right now? You're talking about a minor. Like, why are you singing that with your chest out and then still bumping Drake? That's and you're still following Drake. Is it because he's so big and affluent that you want to continue to be on that bandwagon? Like, if it was anybody else that was smaller than Drake, he would have been canceled immediately. Why was he not canceled?
Well, I think it's also the fact that there's no evidence, like no solid evidence backing it up yet.
Mean, there's some
there probably
things.
I'm sure he probably
there's like like the Billy Bobby Brown. It's like that's
weird,
pretty sus.
Dude. No.
Like, he was Drake was talking to Billy Bobby Brown when she was
as
like
a mentor.
You know Billy Bobby Brown? The
Okay. What's interesting though that you mentioned that everyone's just singing like that one line, and probably a minor. Everyone sings that and everything. You know what's so funny? I keep bringing up my wife, but I love my wife. We were talking about that, and she's like, you know what's kind of sad? Because I'm listening to a lot more Kendrick than I am Drake lately. Go figure. But she's like, you know what? I don't even like the fact that you're listening to Kendrick Lamar. And I'm like, really? Why is that? And she goes, because if he actually knew that he was doing this type of shit and didn't say anything early, then he's just as guilty.
Not necessarily. And here's why. Because he could have been silenced. He could have been silenced,
That's
and there
true
could have been
too,
something held against him. Like I told you earlier about who was it? Doja Cat. The industry is just really sick and messed up. Not only an NDA, but look at the all-white party. Like I said, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Like, there's a bunch of crazy stuff that happens that people can't talk about. And what if he went to one of these parties, a Diddy party, something happened to him right before he gets famous, and he doesn't want that to come out because he's from the hood in LA. Nobody wants to see their idol. You shouldn't have idols, but nobody wants to see their idol, and he just,
doing some shit.
He got the drunken hug, nobody wants to hear about that. So that's
legit.
And as a man, as a straight man coming from an area where they're more alpha, masculine,
sure,
it may be something shameful if it is something that he went through.
Hopefully
so you
not,
never know.
Hopefully not. Hopefully
Yeah.
that's not the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is.
Oh boy.
Like you said, just going towards the point of like what we are just kind of singing and what we're putting out there and things like that. That does play into the normalization of
Right.
the pedophilia that's happening, and
Desensitize.
and the desensitization
Yeah.
within it. And that's funny. Tina was talking about that too. This
No.
desensitization.
No,
to
it's
it
it's
as well.
everywhere. That's a
Yeah.
huge issue now, dude.
Dude, for real, it's almost like every
the
YouTuber
books that
you
are
grew up
being
watching,
given in
bro.
elementary schools, like you see
It's
that, you
sick.
see all that too, and
It's
like
sick.
it's they're teaching these young kids how to properly use a protection
Oh,
and stuff
yeah,
at a
that's
young
it.
age. It's like, dude, in my opinion, we need to put more power into the parents, into the home,
Yes.
than into the school. And I understand, like, you know, some parents like, oh, like I don't want to teach that to my kid, like maybe we should have to educate. It's like, no, like stuff like
Then
that.
take a plan B.
Yeah, I mean,
for real.
Sorry, but take a plan B if
Can't.
that's the case, because if you're putting a child on this earth, that is your responsibility to raise them. And if you feel like you're not going to be a good parent, I am a pro-choice girly. You just wear protection. There's that other form of protection, and you know, God forbid you have to go to that nth degree, but there are other options other than being a mother, or you can, you know, give up for adoption. But
Yeah.
if you feel like you're not a good fit to be a parent, I'm not in control of your life. I can't tell you to be abstinent. No, people don't want to do that. They want to feel good. I understand. But no, you don't just give your kid off to the state and say, best of luck to you.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah, especially with that regarding all that stuff. That is very, very. It's actually kind of odd that they're, you know, yeah, we can teach you about this. Yeah, this is how you do. It's like,
Oh, in the schools.
Yeah, like
it's
elementary
like,
school too.
no,
Well, I'm not
no,
entirely
no.
sure. Is it an elementary school or is it a little bit later, like
I
middle
I saw
school?
one in like a
School.
big book fair or something, and I just only
Because
remember.
I
in
haven't done my
elementary
school.
research.
Yeah, I only remember that in
I haven't done
elementary.
enough research to have a really strong opinion on it. Although I do have a strong opinion on it, I don't want to speak on it until I have the facts.
Sure.
However, I mean, I like, you know, very raunchy books. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I talk about it with adults.
Yeah.
But as for kids, let kids be kids. Let kids,
Sure. Thank
you
you.
know, have an imagination without having it be something so serious. It doesn't need to be
Exactly.
serious.
Yeah.
Let them play on the playground instead of, you know, learning about things that you shouldn't really be hearing about until you're becoming an adult.
For real, I didn't even know what like gay or sex was until like, I don't know, definitely not before 10.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah,
then, I was
facts.
just like,
Yeah, we're just playing. I just
Yeah,
wanna,
we're just
you know what I mean?
playing.
But it just goes back to the desensitization.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
And like
nowadays, kids, bro, little kids. I was talking to a little one, like, oh, so like, have you ever had sex? I'm like, you're 6 years old. How you know what that means? How you know what that
Yeah.
is?
Well, I mean, if they have like older, like brothers and sisters, cousins, family,
Hearing
that
about
they
it.
may
yeah,
hear
yeah,
it.
no, that's very
Music.
true. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
And
Like he knew what it was, you know, like
yeah. I
the
just
whole process.
personally, I think the parents should have more control than the schooling about when they should be learning certain things, and most of the trainings and stuff, or not trainings, I said trainings. Most of the teachings. Well, I don't know. It could be. I don't know. Yeah, my opinions are kind of
Have your opinion.
very specific about that, and it's 100. I have nothing against any person's sexuality at all. Drag show, whatever, you can go to drag shows, but like doing that at elementary school level, like you just said, let kids be kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
if they're 18 and they want to go to a drag show, or they're 18 and they want to go, you know, somewhere else, then they're their own person. But before then, it's
Right.
like you should have the parents' consent first. You know, and
Right.
even then, it's like,
Do you
Yeah,
think
see,
that there's
like,
a lot of
you're-
virtue
you shouldn't
signaling?
be bringing your kid
like, it's
there.
like what
Yeah.
type of personally, what type of parent would be okay?
But do you
with
think it's
their-
more about like trying to get like brownie points in public and getting like likes online, and why it's like, hey, look at me, I'm bringing my kids to these things, like I am like super duper like open with stuff. Do you think it's people
I don't know, man.
trying
I
to
feel
just
like
get
that's more
clout
shameful.
online?
I feel
I
like
feel
that's
like-
shameful, and here's why. I love drag shows. I love drag queens. I think that that's cool. It's fun. It's a good time. Whatever. Like as an adult, I want to go have fun.
Because it's very adult themed.
It is
Yeah.
very
Yes.
adult themed.
Yes.
You know, like I'm cool with it. I have no problem with it. However, I don't think it's the right fit for a child. Why does a child need to see
No.
that? Because it's confusing. Let them learn math. Let them learn how to read. Why aren't we teaching kids kids cursive anymore. That's weird.
Yeah, they don't want people to be reading the Constitution.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
Oh.
Yup.
All of our original documentation.
that's a clip.
All of our original documentation that gives everybody the notification of your rights as an American citizen are written in cursive, and now they're no longer teaching that.
Yes, sir.
Holy crap.
So they don't want you to know what you're entitled to.
They try to keep us ignorant, and so that is something that's really concerning for me. Like when I'm planning to have babies, because I want to have 5 kids. If I'm having that many kids, I want to be at home with my babies, because I want to be able to teach them my core values, my husband's core values. I want them to be able to go out in the world and to speak with people who have other values, and if they have a different opinion, hey, that's cool. Like I said, hear what they gotta say. Don't disrespect them. Hear what they gotta say, and then we could all talk about it. There's no problem with that. However, like I was saying about the cursive, it's really interesting what they're teaching kids nowadays. Why are we not focused more on, if you're going to talk about imagination, what can we do with that? Can you paint? Can you draw? Can you be the next anime artist? Let's talk about that. Why are we, bringing in adult themed events? I don't think it's
indoctrination, I think.
I just don't think it's healthy, like it's like when you see an R-rated movie, they have that R rating for a reason. It's not meant for a 5-year-old.
Well, it's grooming.
And it's a good
trying
movie.
to sneak into one as a kid. Like, no, can do. This is the F word, kiddo. And now they're just like, let's learn about this. It's just so.
I think.
I never thought about the cursive thing. That blew my mind. That freaking blew my mind.
Yeah. Well, I think, and a lot of it too is, there's some grooming involved in that as well. How do you get kids to it's over sexualizing them and hyper sexualizing them?
But whose fault is that? Do you think it's the drag queen's fault? I don't think it's the drag queen's fault. Who's bringing them in?
Well, money talks. So if I'm a performer and someone's going to pay me to perform and I don't have a sense of morality, then of course pay me the money and you're going to do whatever it is that you do. So on that sense, I don't necessarily think it's going to be the performer, even though you still consciously you have to be able to have some sort of a moral compass to be like, yeah, but I'm flopping around in front of a kid. You know what I mean? So I want to pass up on that. So, but again, this world, to ask it to be balanced on some sort of morality is kind of crazy, because that's the problem. There is a lack of morality. So it's kind of like chasing your own tail. But as far as the person that is 100% responsible, I put that solely on the parent that brings the kid there. That sin is in the world and it's going to happen, and there's a million places for it. Our jobs as parents, I'm a parent, it's not necessarily to try and safeguard your kids from every single thing that's going to be out there, because that's impossible to do. But it's to prepare our kids so that they have the ability and the tools to manage these chaotic situations that they may be thrust in, and still remain themselves through the end of it, right? And have a good moral compass throughout all of it. That's kind of our jobs, is because we're not going to be here throughout their entire lives. One day I'm going to die leaving my kids here behind, and they're not going to have me. And so that's a scary thought. So you need to prepare your kids for that. So everything that I'm doing, everything in every fiber of my body is solely focused on preparing my kids for the real world. I don't think it's a good thing to prepare them for chaos by thrusting them directly into that chaos. You need to give them lessons on how to deal with certain things. So when you just go from 0 to 60 and expect them to know, for God's sakes, kids kind of get weirded out when they see their parents kissing. It's like, ew, ew, I used to do, we would do that, and my son, my wife calls me Felipe, and Spanish for Philip, and so my son used to have this little speech impediment as a little toddler, and I would go and reach in for a kiss from my wife, and he would push me. He'd go, "No, Pipe, no, Pipe, no," and he would push me away. "No, Pipe." That was his mommy that I was trying to smooch, and so he didn't like that. There was something odd about this. You can hug, but don't kiss, right? So there's a physical barrier that kids can handle, and a threshold that beyond that, it's too much. You stay away from my mom. And so when we're putting these kids in situations that are, like we said, very adult, it is extremely confusing, and it's very harmful for kids, and it's going to either hypersexualize them or put them into an asexual position where everything scares them, everything frightens them sexually. And so now that's when you start to get this secluded generation, this generation of people that I just want to be by myself. I don't want to deal with problems. I don't want to deal with the real world. I'm going to sit here. I think they even have a term for it in Japanese. I'm not sure what it is, but it's like these closet adults that don't live outside of internet cafes. And that's what we're starting to do to our younger generation now as well, with this constant push of over-sexualization of the youth. So I would say that directly falls on the responsibility of the parent, not necessarily the organization that's putting it on or the performer that's up there.
But it's difficult because I can tell you I was very, very sheltered growing up. There was parental locks on MTV until I was like 14, 15.
Oh, great.
Like,
MTV.
Yeah, so I was very sheltered, listening to Kids Bop. I can tell you, when my parents were not okay with me experiencing things like in health class, and I was one of the only people getting taken out of class, it's not social suicide, but it's harmful in the sense that I don't get to be with my peers, and so they're looking at me like I'm weird.
Sure.
So I think that it's not the drag artist, it's not, I mean, yes, it is the parents, but the responsibility is on the school systems to make sure that they're focusing on the education. Why are they not focusing on the education? Why is the reading level for adults, our age, so low?
Oh, it's bad.
Like
it's bad.
I started reading and I realized how articulate I can be, and I was like, oh my God, how was I talking before? Because it definitely wasn't this. And I don't know. I don't like the way the school system is going.
I fully
We can
agree
just
with
leave
you.
it at that.
Yeah.
There's some
could talk
change
about
that
this
needs to
all
be done.
day.
Oh,
Yeah,
totally. And having kids that are in the school system right now, you can kind of see it. You really can see it, and it's kind of sad. I got family that's military in the Naval Academy, and I mean, shouts out to him. He worked his butt off in high school, and while everyone else was partying, he was dedicated to his studies, trying to get into the Naval Academy. He gets into the Naval Academy, and he's got stellar grades, honor society, all this stuff. And he goes into the academy, and he says, "Oh yeah, like I'm tip-top class of this and this and this." And someone goes, "Where are you from?" "Yeah, California." And everyone laughed at him. He's like, "Congratulations, you're like the smartest dumb kid out of everyone here."
Yeah.
And it turns out that he's struggling with some of his tests. He's behind on certain things that other classmates just aren't. And this is in the Naval Academy. So you would think that, yeah, you got to be the tip top to get there. Now he's there, but he was struggling at first. And it was a realization like, oh my God, like our school system in California really does not care about my education. It is not about the fundamentals anymore. It is really an indoctrination, and he's learning that firsthand, and it is a bit embarrassing. Like you said, sometimes you don't get to experience some of the things with your classmates. He and that kind of embarrassed you a little bit, but he is going into this thinking he was something that he wasn't because of the school system that failed him. So there's a lot of that happening, and so I that resonates with me. Yes, there's a lot of responsibility on the school end.
Dang, man.
Right?
Yeah. That's
Holy crap.
bro.
So, Hannah, as far as your program and your teachings and your coachings and stuff like that, what's your goal for 2024 to finish this year out? What do you want to do?
I want to do a little bit of a rebrand. So I want to rebrand my website. I want to focus more on nutrition and gut health. I noticed that when I eat a lot of processed sugar, because I love sweets, I love In-N-Out, unfortunately, I have symptoms of bipolar. I have really, really bad mood swings. I have high highs where I'm up and I'm like, dude, I look like I'm tweaking right now. I'm not, but I look like it. And then I have low lows where I'm depressed, I'm insecure, and it's all related to my gut health. So once I started correcting my gut health, I noticed that I was more level-minded. I don't have as much brain fog. I am diagnosed ADHD, and I've been working on correcting that, and I do like to stay away from medication as much as possible. I have had to take medication, but it's not just like, hey, you take the pill and you're okay. There's things that you have to do outside of that. So that would be focusing more on the things that you put into your body, the things that you see. The eyes are the windows to the soul. Same thing with the things that you hear. That's all just really important in your mental health and your physical health. So being able to implement that and then teach that to other people, that's what's important to me.
Wow.
Damn, that's great.
Now, where are you getting like this information from? Is this just like you're starting to do a rebrand because you've noticed the things that have been beneficial in your life, or did that lead you down kind of like this rabbit hole of nutrition that you just feel like, man, I have this plethora of information and now I have to share it with my people?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
So I know how I come off. I can come off vapid and okay, I'm the booty coach. That's amazing. That's awesome. I know my thing when it comes to that, but I know so much more, and I want people to see that. So when they come to my page, they're like, okay, first take, awesome physique. Go to my website and they get a lot of information. Okay, cool. Like I think I like the way this girl, thinks, the way she works. They meet me and then they get even more out of me, and that's the goal.
Okay.
That's awesome. Now, you had said something. I think in Hollywood they call it typecasting, but you just said like you're kind of known to like have like the glute physique and like this is like I'm training people on this. Is there beyond that like this? Do you feel like you want to expand on that just because like that's kind of how you've noticed yourself being typecasted, or is it like that's not even a thing? I don't even care about how you typecast me. I just want to give as much information as possible.
Second one, and here's why. I don't mind my niche market. I love my niche market. I love I'm good at what I do. I'm really good at what I do. I can snatch the waist, build the booty. I'm good at that. But I offer so much more, and I feel like at first take, as far as marketing goes, that's what people see. When you get to know me, there's a reason why my clients stay so long, and it's because I'm more than just that. You could go to there is a plethora of coaches that specialize in what I specialize, but people come to me and they stay with me because I practice patience with them, and anything that they come to me to, if I don't know it, I'm going to research it and give them my best, and I just want to add on to what my best is currently.
Yeah.
Wow.
I kind of want to ask something maybe a little bit like hard to, or a little bit you may need to get on a vulnerable level. So,
Okay.
But do you see a lot of your clients coming into this, and this is kind of perspective to say right or wrong, but getting into the health game for the wrong reasons? Like, I really want to get a booty because I want people to like look at me and notice me, or I want to look good in these kinds of things. Or do you see that a lot? Like, because I know for guys, we get into the gym, a lot of it is
I want a big chest.
right?
Yeah.
Like I want to get big.
Yeah.
Like like for me, like I realize like I am getting into my 30s and I've never pushed my physical physique to a point where I really could just be proud of it. So it was one of those things like, man, I really want to try this because it's something I've never done. I've always either have been a little bit chubby because I really enjoy my snacks and my sweets during my off seasons during sports, right? Or I would just be in sports and I would look athletic. And so as I'm getting into my 30s, I wanted to change a little bit. How does that, do you see yourself training people for multiple reasons? Is it kind of like the wrong reasons? I guess I'm trying to get into the head of like of the women out there.
I get what you're trying to say. I feel like when a woman comes to me and she's like, hey, I really want a big butt, I want my waist to look like this, and she's telling me all the things that she wants, I'm reading her body language. I'm reading like how she's coming in. Is she wearing a big t-shirt and a baseball cap? Does she keep her eyes down when she's walking into the gym? Is she waiting for my instruction at every given moment? Is she looking for me around the gym? And is that insecurity? Where is that insecurity coming from? So what I want to do with my girls is I want to build up their strength internally and externally. I want to tell them all of the benefits of strength training outside of just looking good. Looking good is an amazing benefit, and it is like, it's like the hook. It's the reason why you come in, but it's not the reason that you stay. So I wouldn't say it's a bad reason to come in. I think that it's just the tip of the iceberg, and they're not able to explain to me subconsciously what else is going on. Not just yet, not until we kind of break the ice, and it takes some time.
Exactly.
People don't want to come to you and be like, hey, like I had a miscarriage, and my marriage is kind of failing, and I'm feeling really just shitty about myself, and you seem really positive and uplifting, and I really like your butt. So they're not going to tell me that.
Sure.
But but I see it, and when we break down that barrier, they're able to kind of communicate more to me what they really want and what they really need. And it's more than just that with everybody. I don't just look at somebody and go, write them off. This is all you want. That's all right. It's coming from somewhere, and my goal is I want to figure that out. That way we can work together on building up that confidence, and you leaving here a better person because of it.
Sure.
Exactly.
While looking good.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable place to be in, to ask for help. Well, and I think a lot of times when people are getting to that point, it's almost like a last resort. Like, man,
Yes.
I've let myself get to this point. I have to do something about it. And that comes with a lot of vulnerability as well.
Yeah.
And so just to get into the gym, it's almost like admitting, like, I have let myself go. And so that comes with a stigma in itself, like maybe I'm not good enough to be here, or maybe like who am I amongst all of these, like, chiseled and physiqued people.
Well, we did say comparison is the what?
Is
of
a
joy.
joy, right?
Yes.
And so it takes a very special person to, like you said, read all of the signs in the room, like, the eye contact and the baggy clothes and the things, like, what else are they bringing along to it? So I guess using that as a segue, I'm a father of 2 daughters, and so I love kind of chipping away and picking your brain a little bit. Is there anything that you can say from the perspective of a woman, that when you are going into the gym, that there are certain things that guys may not realize that they're doing that are faux pas in the gym? Or are there certain things that, man, I wish this gym etiquette was a little bit different?
Are you talking about men or people in
I'm
general?
talking about men, and coming from the perspective of a woman, like trying to pick the brain of like a woman. Like, is there certain things that men can be doing to be a little bit better at the gym with etiquette or anything? Like certain women, there's like a big push right now, like a guy may come up and say, hey, if someone's working on their glutes and they're kind of doing like their hip thrusts, can I get you a mat, or can I do this? And they're saying, oh, look at this guy, he's hitting on me, or something like that, right? Should there be less of that? Should there be less attempts? Should there be less conversations at the gym? Or is there
less communication?
Yeah, is there some faux pas that men are just oblivious to when it comes to the mind of a woman? Like, why is he even doing this? Is there anything like that?
I think that I haven't had many issues with men coming up to me. Like, everybody's been pretty respectful, but I think I look a little crazy when I work out. So I think that's a good deterrent.
Describe the crazy. What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I got a crazy look in my eye. I'm pacing around. I'm bobbing my head. It's like, this chick is psycho. Let me keep some distance.
Got you.
But I have had somebody come up to me, I think when I was doing like deadlifts, and you know deadlift form. I think coming up from behind, coming to come speak to me and saying, hey, like, you're doing a great job. I wasn't lifting all that heavy. I knew where it was going, and I completely understand. If I was single, I probably wouldn't be a big fan of dating apps. I would probably be looking in a gym. I understand where they're coming from, so I try to like hold grace, but I set strong boundaries. If you come up to me, you shake my hand, and then you try to hit on me, hey, thank you so much, I'm married, God bless you, have a great day, that's it. Nobody has tried me after that, so I can't speak on any experiences besides that. But if a man comes up to me and says, hey, are you using this? Just be polite. Like, I don't know. I'm married to a man. I pray to God I have sons, because I was a handful. So I don't know. I just think that, if someone comes up to you and they're being polite and respectful, you can have that same politeness and respect. I have my own traumas. I have PTSD for my own reasons. And I've been through some things, and I don't look at anybody crazy like they're trying to hurt me. I have to be in a certain mindset. Like, if I'm having an episode where I feel like hyperly alert or aware of everybody, and somebody's looking at me crazy, I try to remove myself. But if nobody's coming up to me, it's fine. I don't think that I've seen any men, at least in this gym and nude, going up to women and being disrespectful. Everybody's been pretty respectful.
And I think that's kind of how it is at the majority of places.
It is.
You see influencers kind of like Joey Swoles, like revealing like these people who are like.
I love Joey Swoll.
Shout out Joey Swoll. He's so
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
About just kind of being better. And that's kind of, I guess, more of like where my mentality was, is like, are you seeing a lot of that, like from the perspective of a woman? Do you see like fellow ladies, like we need to do better about like, you know,
little bit.
shitting on dudes who are out there who are just literally looking around the gym, not necessarily checking you out.
Well, here's the thing:
Yeah.
if you're
And
a
you get
beautiful
blasted
woman
on the
and
internet.
you're wearing something very sexy, and he's single and he doesn't want to be on a dating app because it's kind of grimy, and he comes up to you and he's respectful, but he's like, "Hey, you're beautiful." You could take the compliment and set your boundary. Hey, thank you very much. I'm really not interested. Thank you, but I'm just trying to get my workout in.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
that. And if he
100%.
gets offended and he says something back, all right.
Well, then he's the
Yeah,
jerk. Yeah.
then you
Press
can't
the
post.
issue if
Right,
you want
right,
to.
right,
That's
right,
fine.
right.
But outside of that, if a man is just coming up to you and hitting on you, hey, you're beautiful, like you look good, just take it in stride.
Yeah.
I
Little confidence boost.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Like, I have had men come up to me and be like, hey, you're going hard. Like, that's awesome. Like, you look amazing. No disrespect to you. Can I get your Instagram? I'm like, honestly, no. I'm married. And that's it.
Yeah.
You can tell people there's
Sure.
nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure, like, your husband, boyfriend, partner, whatever, would probably appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just seems like it's almost popular now to try and blast other people at the gym.
Again,
And
rage bait.
Yeah, again, the
Yeah.
rage bait.
It
When
is.
I'm over here, like, I am very cautious of trying to, like, make sure that my intent when I'm at the gym, even amongst guys, because some guys can take advice the wrong way. Like, what are you trying to give me advice, bro? Like, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
of how you are approaching things. And it just seems like it's almost popular to stoke a fire.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And like now, I'm low key scared of a girl with a tripod and a camera, because if I'm looking around and I see
Oh
that, I'm
my
like,
gosh,
oh no,
yeah. Seriously.
I'm like,
You
it's
look in
over for
you
me.
look in their vicinity, their direction. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I've
I know.
seen it too.
She's gonna freeze frame my
Yeah.
face, looking her way.
He's like,
Dude, I
this
was like,
creep at
that
the
wasn't
gym.
even. Yeah, literally.
face thumbnail.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen it. Like, I'll be recording and I'll see a guy look up, and he's appreciating. It's not like like
Right,
I
yeah,
fucking,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's not like, damn. Like, he's just, oh, okay. And then he sees my phone.
Yeah.
Immediately, like,
Yeah.
scared. I'm like,
Yes.
bro, like, it's okay. You weren't looking at me crazy. You weren't like,
Yeah. We're like
like-
getting angles there. Like,
yeah, like, it's okay. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the human experience is so unique to all of us, and we are all human. We're all going to make mistakes, and I don't see anything wrong with that as long as you're being respectful.
Absolutely.
Same thing when it goes to filming. Like, don't get angry when someone walks into your frame.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like,
It's a
it
post-its.
happens,
Yeah.
and if you can't do that set good the next one, maybe you just shouldn't be filming.
Yeah,
Honestly.
sorry.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's like some people would just be like, God damn it, that was the only good set I
Yeah,
got.
like, right?
Hit another one.
Yeah. Serious. Right. Do you have problems like with like when you're doing your or I should ask you this first, like as far as your setup is concerned, are you trying to place like your phone like in an area like that's not going to be in other people's way?
I do try to be
not trying to be
courteous.
filming, right?
I try to be courteous as much as possible, but like I like to go work out in San Diego at the gym at Ocean Pacific. I want to go to the Compound Lifting Club. Like, I like gyms like that. I'm gonna go film in Orange County with a couple fitness influencers, cool girls that I've met before. I just don't see a problem with it as long as it's in nobody's way. And if it's in somebody's way, I'll see them and they kind of look frustrated and they don't want to say anything. I take my headphone out and I gesture to them. I'm like, excuse me, sir, like, is this in your way? Like, I'll remove it. Same thing. Excuse me, miss, can I get out your way? And if they tell me, oh no, you're good, attitude or not, all right, cool.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like,
Exactly.
I was
You asked.
respectful.
100.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I just believe in having respect. If you have respect and you're able to, use your voice and make direct eye contact and speak up, there should be nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
I like
Now, I know you were talking about your plans for rebranding and things like that. Specific goals. Is that in the works right now for your rebranding? And so you're considering like that, putting that on your list, checking off the websites and stuff? Or
Yes.
is there like, once that's done, the next goal for 2024 is clientele or expanding like my social media presence or anything like that? And if there's any other goals,
All of
what
the
are you
above.
doing to execute those?
Well, I have a what is it called? I have a vision board. I do a vision
Sweet.
board
Nice.
every January. I
nice.
have it hanging up above my bed, and then right below my TV, I have a written calendar, a big written calendar where I have all my appointments. Because if I don't write it down, it's just not going to happen. I won't be there. I also have beneath that calendar, I have my notebook, and sometimes at night, after I smoke a little bit or whatever, I come up with ideas for content, or I come up with ideas for my business. And I just write it down, or things that I may forget, I just write it down. I brain dump all the time. So I brain dump, revise, brain dump, revise, brain dump, revise. And that is how I feel like I'm successful, because I always write things down. It's been scientifically proven to help you remember things is writing it down instead of putting it in your phone. So that is helpful for me. I do have everything written down. Like, I need to create a GoDaddy account. I'm doing that after this.
Nice.
I'm going to do a questionnaire for my online clients so I can check in with them regularly, be more consistent with it. I feel like my website is a little bit childish, and I would like to upgrade it and have it match me, suit me a little bit more.
I like that.
I do want to grow on Instagram. I want to cap at 10K. I do not want to grow past that because that's overwhelming for me. So yeah, that's what I have planned.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And as far as getting one step closer to each one of those, are you putting that down on your vision board too,
Yes.
or on your dump board and all that stuff? Mission
you brain
accomplished.
dump as soon as you get to it. You physically cross it off, and then like say if I'm wanting to rebrand, so rebrand might be something on my list, and then it's kind of like a chart underneath it. So what does that mean? Okay, rebrand, I'm going to redo my website. Am I going to redo the way I make posts? Am I going to redo the way that I train clients? What education courses am I taking? And currently I'm taking 4.
Good for you.
Because I'm wanting to upgrade my cues on how I speak to my clients. I want to know more about the anatomy, and I do know about it, but with my anxiety, I just sometimes draw a blank and I come off a lot less articulate than I can be.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
But recognizing that and knowing that that's part of your goals as well.
That's huge.
It's helping you here, but it's going to be implemented on so many different aspects and avenues of your life.
Absolutely.
So it's like, no, start here, and that will progress onto these other things. That's really cool. And I like the vision board thing. If you guys don't have one, it's a great way of being accountable to yourself, because it's like, I set these goals, not anybody else. So why aren't you living up to them? So,
and one thing I recommend is if you do a vision board, I would check in with yourself quarterly. You've got 4 quarters of the year. Quarterly, look at all of your goals that you've set for yourself. Am I taking the steps? Am I implementing the actions that it takes to reach these goals that are on my vision board? If no, maybe you need to reevaluate who you spend your time with, what you're spending your time on, what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're eating, in order to reach the goals that you've set for yourself. And if you don't reach those goals because of your own actions, that to me is disrespecting yourself.
Exactly.
yeah, you're not living up to your full potential.
Yeah.
Man, I love it. We talked about quite a lot on this episode. Got into some hot topics.
Some extremely hot topics.
Got into some Smitty taste testing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun talking about that. The education system, judicial system, and all of that can leave some people with a lot to think about, and something that can help get through and cut through some of that fog, some of that brain haze you're talking about. It's a good old ism.
There you
right?
go.
A good old little word of wisdom, something that kind of helps you get through the day. Now, season 1, we've always wrapped up every single episode with an ism, whether that is something that, shout out to my pops, because he wrote out a little book of isms for me. He's like, bro, I love the fact you're doing isms. I'm listening to different things, and anytime I hear one, I write it down. He wrote it down, filled up this book, and sent it out to me from Arizona. Shouts out to Pops. But is there anything that resonated with you while you're going through a difficult time, whether that was entrepreneurially, personally, growing up as a kid, something that helped you out that you remember, whether it was a quote or a Bible verse or just something that maybe mom or dad may have just pulled you aside and said, hey, you're doing great? And it could have been something as simple as that. Is there anything that you would be willing to share with us, an ism, if you will, that helps get you to where you are today?
Yes, it's something that both my parents have told me. I think my dad told me this. It's simple. Wherever you go, there you are. And what I mean by that is, if you're unhappy and you're just a miserable person, you can move to France. You're still going to be a miserable person in France. You know? So you must work on yourself and work on your character, work on who you are on the inside, work on your heart, in order for you to have a good life.
It was wherever you go, there you are.
There you
Yep.
That is.
That's a good one. I never heard that one.
Yeah.
Straight to the point.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I'll be honest. This was a very good episode.
Oh, for
we
sure.
talked.
100.
We talked about interpersonal things. We talked about things going on. This was
Yeah, we
probably the
talked
most
to-
effective hot topic conversation we've had.
Definitely
For
a lot
I'm not
going
even
on
gonna
in the
lie.
world. Definitely a lot going on in the world. But I love the fact that you were very open about your your belief system.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like you held back whatsoever on this, and I really appreciate that because a
we-
lot of people kind of tiptoe
We
around
like the transparency,
certain things.
thank
So
you.
yes, we respect the transparency.
Unfortunately, I'm Italian. I'm a talker. It runs in the
It was
family.
perfect
you
for
know?
this
love it.
podcast.
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So ending the show with the ism. Wherever you are, wherever you go, there you are.
Yep.
Wherever you go.
Wherever you go, there you are.
There you are.
That is so profound. It's
It's so
Oh, that's
simple.
nice.
it's funny.
Yeah.
It's something to think about for sure. You know.
100%. I'm gonna journal about that tonight.
Well,
Good for
Hannah
you.
of Hannah C. Fit.
She's like, I'm not going to.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
exactly.
It involves paper, but not writing on it.
And some herbs.
You know what I'm
there
saying?
you
We're
go.
going to roll that
There you
paper. But we've talked about a lot. We've
Herbs
had a
and
great
spices.
time. Herbs and spices. We're going to do some cooking later.
Yeah.
We had a great time. Hannah, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you so
Hannah C.
much.
Fit, if you don't know, we'll have all the links in the description of everything that Hannah's doing. Keep in touch. Make sure that you follow her on all the socials. Check out the new website that's going to be coming out and all the new nutritional information that's going to be along there. And we always love catching up with our guests. Maybe we can get another round getting you down for season 3 or towards the end of season 2 to
love
see
that.
how things are going. But Hannah, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you so
here. With
much.
that being said,
Let's get one more round of
applause for
Yeah.
Hannah.
Let's
Hannah C. Fit,
go.
let's go. And thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to let Ethan go ahead and sign us out.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching episode 2 of season 2. This season's going absolutely great so
Oh,
far.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Awesome.
like Phil said, look in the description. All of her links are going to be at the top of the description. If you're interested in any more of our episodes, we've got plenty of them. Go back to season 1, and we got 25 of those
Yes, sir.
bad boys on there.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
But yeah, that's basically it, guys. I hope you guys stay blessed, stay safe, and we'll see you guys in episode 3.
Later.